So I was thinking, like, it's like if you're following someone else's blueprint of how they run their business, even if it's the same business as you. So for example, if I'm running a coaching business and so is the coach that I learn from, if I follow her exact blueprint of the way she does things, that may work for me in the short term because like the way that she's doing things works, like practically, right? But it won't be sustainable long term because I'm still trying to fit myself into somebody else's structure. So it's like what I'm really have been learning over the past couple of months is what my structure is, what kind of, like, how do I like to work? Like how many hours do I like to work? Do I like breaks? Do I not like breaks? Like what is my working style? And it's like, depending on what your working style is, that is going to determine what your blueprint of running a successful business is. Because, for example, someone who's really enjoying, like, for example, the classic example, like Elon Musk working 100 hours a week or whatever, that was very, like, romanticized, right? Because he's a successful person. And so people were like, oh, like if Elon Musk is successful and he works 100 hours a week, then the only way for me to be successful is if I also work 100 hours a week. But not everyone has the capacity or the energy or the time to be spending on that, like, only on business. You know, like some people, maybe Elon Musk, like, prioritizes his business because he has an internal drive to spend time on this. Like, he's spending 100 hours a week, not because someone told him to, but because he just likes doing what he's doing so much that he would rather not do anything else. Like, I'm sure that if he's working 100 hours a week, if you ask him, he'd be like, yeah, there's nothing else that I'd rather be doing. Mm-hmm. But people try to, like, fake themselves into that mold and be like, oh, I need to start spending 100 hours a week on my business.
Yeah.
When in reality, they're, like, trying it and fitting themselves in, but they're just building up resentment to what they're doing, mm-hmm. which is awful. Because,
and who knows, like, in the end, you might actually end up spending, maybe not 100 hours a week, but, like, more than the average person doing what it is that you do. But you have to build up to it.
Yeah.
You have to build up, like, the desire to actually want to do that. You can't just say, oh, all the successful people are working super long hours, therefore I need to start my career mm-hmm. by working those long hours, because you'll break down.
Yeah.
You need to build the habits and add them one by one.
Yeah.
And the more you get into a topic too, the more you start to enjoy it.
Yeah. And it has to be an authentic desire.
Granted, you shouldn't, like, if you dislike a topic, you shouldn't, like, continue on that path with the expectation that you'll begin to enjoy it in the future.
Yeah.
You should already enjoy it at the start, but then as you progress, you'll probably enjoy it even more and more and more as you get better.
Yeah.
And feel more confident in what it is that you're doing.
Yeah. I like how you mentioned, like, building up the habits, because that's really, like, that's so true, especially for me, because I didn't have, like, when I started my coaching business last September, even when I started my YouTube channel, like, I didn't have the habits in place to be successful at being consistent, for example, on YouTube. Because to be consistent on YouTube, like, only now in the past week or so, I've, like, actually been able to commit to filming consistently multiple times a week, whereas before I only had the capacity to film one time a week. And that's because the rest of my life wasn't, like, I wasn't taking care of myself well enough in the rest of my life. So I didn't have the energy to actually show up and film and do these extra things that I'd set out for myself. Like, even one of the things is so basic, but I used to not, like, prioritize feeding myself. And so I would, like, I don't eat 3 meals a day, but I do eat, like, 2 meals, and I have to have a meal, like, a couple hours after I wake up, and then another one, like, a bigger one at dinner. And if I miss the meal in the middle of the day, and if I only have the dinner meal, then it really affects, like, my productivity the entire day, because you literally need energy from food resource. But it's like things like that. Like I had to figure out how to make sure that I was eating regularly before I could commit to taking on more clients on top and commit to like making consistent YouTube videos. But how, going back to working style, something else that I feel like it's really been my own journey to figure out is I work very little. Like when it comes to like what work looks like, to me, how do I say this? So it's like in reality, I feel like I'm working all the time because every single moment of my life informs the content that I create, and every single moment of my life and everything that all the information I consume is what is informing what I put back out and what I create. And I do talk a lot about lifestyle. So that like every moment I'm like working. But when it comes to like actually doing like what we traditionally see as working, which is usually like sitting in front of a computer or doing that, like maybe admin work or design work, or do you know like that kind of definition of work, I can only
explicitly tasked things.
Yes, I can only do maybe like 2 hours at a time, like with a focused work. And that has been hard to deal with because like when you grow up in the culture that we're in, where everyone's expected to conform to the 9-to-5 model, which is literally like, even if you can only focus for 2 hours at a time, how the hell do you fit yourself successfully into a 9-to-5 model? Like you can try it, you can force it, but it really drained the shit out of me. Like it's so hard for me to sit in the same spot for the entire day. It just drains the shit out of me, and I feel like it just doesn't work, and my work isn't good.
Yeah, but do you need to do any more than you're doing already?
No.
So then it doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter, but I'm saying like I had to come to terms with the fact that I just had a different working style. And that the 9-to-5 model, it's like there's nothing wrong with me for not being able to uphold that.
But like, what would that even mean for you to be doing that traditional work? You wouldn't be doing the same work that you're doing now.
Yeah, I know, but the work that I'm doing now is specifically designed in alignment with my working style.